Why are young white girls dressing and trying to behave like adult women? Why are they trying to be sexy at such an early age? The basic answer is that young girls are very fashion conscious, and the fashion being pushed by the media is early teen and preteen sexuality. And I hardly need to tell you that people pushing this sexualizing of children are Jews, and that they are doing it deliberately and consciously. It's not a trend that just happened to develop by itself. The dominant media influence on young teens comes from MTV, which is owned by the Jew Sumner Redstone. Says MTV's chairman of the board, Bob Pittman, and I quote, "At MTV, we don't just shoot for the 14-year-olds, we own them." The man who decides on the content of the entertainment presented to 14-year-olds is MTV's president of programming, Brian Graden, a homosexual Jew. Nickelodeon, a cable channel also owned by Sumner Redstone, shoots for the younger teens and preteens and is pushing the same trend as MTV. Bruce Friend, the vice president of planning for Nickelodeon, says, and I quote, "In the last 10 years, we've seen a rapid development of upper-age children. The 12 to 14-year-olds of yesterday are the 10 to 12s of today. The rise of the preteen teen is the biggest trend we've seen." Redstone's child poisoners take frequent polls to see what effect their poison is having. The Nickelodeon Yankelovich Youth Monitor found in its polls that by the time they are 12, children describe themselves as, quote, "flirtatious, sexy, trendy, athletic, cool." And Nickelodeon's Bruce Friend reports that by age 11, children in focus groups say they no longer think of themselves as children. The other side of the coin is the children's fashion industry itself, which, as you may have guessed, is as heavily Jewish as the entertainment media. From the clothing chains Gap Kids and Old Navy, which are run by Donald Fisher and Millard Drexler, to the Wet Seal stores run by Irving Teitelbaum, and Limited 2, which is run by Michael Radin, the Jewish influence on children's clothing is pervasive and pernicious. You may have heard of the recent protest by outraged parents over the children's division of Abercrombie & Fitch, introducing thong-style underwear for 7 to 14-year-old girls. Until 1988, Abercrombie & Fitch was well known as a traditional American supplier of quality outdoor attire. Then it was acquired by the clothing chain The Limited, where, under the guidance of Leslie Wexner, a fervently Zionist Jew, it was transformed into a purveyor of provocative attire for young people. Limited 2 was another of Wexner's creations that followed a similar course. The sexual exploitation of white children by Jewish fashion designers and executives can be traced back at least as far as the early 1980s, when the bisexual Jew Calvin Klein hired Brooke Shields to model his line of jeans, and later devised an ad campaign using children in seductive poses. Today's children are being morally and culturally abused by a fashion industry that receives its inspiration from a degenerate entertainment industry. What could be more obvious proof of a deliberate attempt to corrupt our youth? If the FBI really wanted to accomplish something useful for America, instead of collaborating with the ADL's program to abolish our Bill of Rights, it would investigate and terminate the constant flow of propaganda spewed out by the Jewish media and fashion industries, which is subverting our youth. Instead, it is up to us to neutralize this assault on our children.